Hey everyone, good morning. It is Ex Bethelite, and I started to record this a little earlier, and my lawn maintenance guys were out cutting the grass, so it was a little too loud, so I had to restart. So a few technical difficulties here this morning, but I wanted to get this video out. The reason for it was I had just been watching a recorded live stream on Lloyd Evans' channel. Discussing the recent convention video. I think it was a video. It was a recording of David Splain, who is one of the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. And basically, the discussion was his commentary on apostates and a lot of the, basically explaining away a lot of the problems that are going on in Jehovah's Witnesses, especially leadership these days, court cases, child abuse, and it was a pretty alarming. Some of the things he said were pretty alarming. So I'm going to get into that in this video. We're also going to review some of the recent lawsuits that have been filed. There's an upcoming documentary that's probably going to be pretty damning on the Jehovah's Witness religion, specifically Watchtower and the cult practices. So yeah, I thought this would be a good time. I haven't really, I've touched on the issue of child abuse within the Jehovah's Witness religion or cult. This video is going to be a little bit more in depth, trying to give some further commentary on it. So yeah, let's dive into it. First, let's look at a court case. I pulled this off of Google. It's public information. Let me just pull up my screen here. All right, there we go. So the title here, this is from, I guess, Robbins Kaplan, files 3 lawsuits. This is an attorney against Jehovah's Witness parent organization in New York on behalf of survivors of child sex abuse. So this is a specific lawsuit against the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York Incorporated. There are specifically 2 different New York state congregations that are involved in this lawsuit. This was filed, looks like, back in May. And it also looks like there will be a court case sometime in August. It indicates a date here of August 14th. It says the lawsuits allege that for many years, the Jehovah's Witnesses promulgated harmful policies that facilitated child sex abuse and protected perpetrators from criminal prosecution. 2 of these lawsuits involve allegations of child sex abuse perpetrated by the same individual, a ministerial servant of Jehovah's Witnesses, of the Jehovah's Witness congregation in upstate New York. Although New York law allows survivors of child sex abuse to file complaints anonymously using a pseudonym, these 2 child sex abuse survivors, Daniel Owen and Pearl Grape, have decided to come forward publicly. Mr. Owen said publicly, pursuing this lawsuit will help bring closure, and even though the abuse will still be with me. It's interesting. It says there's another plaintiff who is responsible under a pseudonym, believing that she was re-victimized through shunning after coming forward with allegations of child abuse or abuse against this ministerial servant. It says, I was a 12-year-old sex abuse victim. After coming forward against a ministerial servant, I received no sympathy. No one talked to me anymore. I became socially isolated. I knew what he did was wrong, but it's like I was the only one who knew it. So this is a common case of what's been happening in the congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses. There is a sexual predator who takes advantage of the naive nature of Jehovah's Witnesses and their trust and allowing them to be around their children. This happens quite often especially in cases where the predator is an elder or a ministerial servant, has some position of authority in the congregation. It even becomes even more egregious because the witness family, the parents of the child, end up putting trust in that individual. Well, certainly brother so and so can take my child out in field service by themselves. He's a ministerial servant in good standing in the congregation. He gives great public talks. He's always handling the microphones in the meetings. Or it may be an elder who's a trusted elder, has a position of responsibility, gives talks, is seen very, very well in the congregation. And of course, there would be no reason for parents to suspect that their child is in danger. But this happens all the time in congregations. It's still happening right now, especially when Jehovah's Witnesses, if they even hear cases of this, they immediately dismiss it as apostate propaganda, which is absolutely ridiculous. These are criminal investigations. In many cases, it's civil investigations, civil liability. But in New York, this is criminal. The law was broken in New York, and not only is this ministerial servant going to be tried and most likely convicted and receive a jail sentence, but there also could be criminal liability for the elders that kept this quiet and did not report it to the authorities. And that's what's coming. Some states don't really have laws on the books specifically stating that someone in a religious capacity, pastor, elder in this case, must report crimes, must report sexual abuse. This is an absolute must. States are going to regulate this. State attorneys are going to prosecute. And any elder, anyone in the congregation that has knowledge of the abuse, has knowledge of the criminal activity, and does not report it, not only will they be subject to civil liability, being sued by parents, relatives of the abuse victim, but they also face criminal actions, criminal prosecution by the state. And that's what should happen in every state. New York is one of the first states that has enacted this. I think you're going to see many, many states over time put this into law. In fact, I know that there are groups right now. I mean, this isn't just for Jehovah's Witnesses. This is in many religions. This takes place, Catholic religion, different types of religions. This is a major problem. And there are groups right now lobbying to have this put into law in every state. So that it's going to come in time. I think every state will have this. And it's going to fundamentally change a lot of religions. The Jehovah's Witness religion is, the congregations are tight-knit. They're usually 100 people or less. An elder body usually has anywhere from 5 to 10 elders in the congregation. Whenever there's report of wrongdoing, any type of abuse, anything like that, 3 elders meet with the accused, and, which is completely egregious, they will meet with the child, a minor, which is completely unlawful. That should never happen. The first thing that should happen is, if the elders receive a report of this, they should immediately tell the parent of the victim that this needs to be reported to the authorities. The authorities need to handle this. This is not to be handled by 3 untrained men who, let's face it, probably are not professionals in any capacity in real life, right? Most witnesses are window washers, cleaning people. They might own their own business. They're not likely to be an attorney. or a doctor or somebody of a professional capacity. Even if they were a doctor, this needs to be handled by professionals in law enforcement that deal with this on a constant basis. So there should be no reason ever that three older men, or three elders, so-called older men, should ever be meeting with anything like this. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm glad that these court cases are becoming very, very public. It's very, very bad news for Jehovah's Witnesses. I think it's, as far as the religion itself, it reflects very, very badly on leadership. And believe me, there are people leaving the Jehovah's Witness cult religion every day, because of knowledge, finding out knowledge of this, cover up, how that they are actually trying to cover up abuse and not protecting children. If you think about it, children it's the last innocent thing in this world is a child, right? I mean, I think once you hit 15 or 16 years old, that innocence is pretty much lost in many ways. Definitely when a child or a young person hits 18, 19, 20, 21, that's it, right? They're an adult, innocence is gone, it's over. But we need to protect young ones and keep them mentally healthy, mentally clean, physically healthy, physically clean. I mean, this should be priority number one for anybody, especially somebody who professes to be a Christian, that holds morality as at a high standard. And the fact that your religion is settling multiple cases. And of course, David Splain comes on and says that settling court cases is scriptural. He references a scripture, I believe, that saying that Jesus said to settle matters between brothers. That has nothing to do with child sex abuse. It's complete context manipulation that David Splain uses in that scripture. I think it's in 2 Corinthians, where Jesus instructed to go settle matters between two brothers and basically not bring in the court. So they're using that scripture to explain why the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is settling lawsuits with child sex abuse victims. In many cases, it's years after the abuse happened, right? It probably takes many, many years for a victim to acknowledge what happened, process what happened, and then to come forward and have the courage to come forward for justice. And the fact that these governing body members, they're absolutely disgusting in the fact that they're trying to explain away their bad behavior, their incorrect handling of matters. It's egregious. It really, really is. This should be the one thing that wakes witnesses up to the fact that this religion is not, it's an evil, evil cult ran by evil, evil men. It just is. The governing body are very evil. I think they're worse than the Pharisees back in Jesus' day. And they know what they're doing. They know that they're hypocritical. They know that they're covering up wrongdoing and abuse. And the fact that this is involving children, innocent victims, makes it even more disgusting. So I'm glad that these cases are being brought to light. I mean, this is one that we're going to find out about in just a few months. It's going to court in New York, in the state of New York. It's going to be very, very public. And I think it's great. I think this is it. More and more of these need to be exposing the Jehovah's Witness cult and their leadership as to what they're doing. All right, my long guy is using his blower, so hold on a second, guys. I'm drinking some nice warm coffee in the morning, kind of wake me up, get the day going. I'm more of a morning person, by the way. Right around 9:30, 10 o'clock, I start to shut down, especially mentally. If I'm still awake, I'm sort of like a zombie. But in the morning, I get up at 6:30 every morning. I have a cup of coffee and I'm ready to go. So just a little background on me. All right, looks like he went away. Audio's a little bit better now. All right, the other screen I'm going to share is also an announcement of a upcoming documentary. Let me pull that up as well. All right, bear with me one second while I share my screen. All right, there we go. So this was announced just a few days ago, July 17th. Vice TV announces a documentary on Jehovah's Witnesses. So let's read this article here. It says, America's fastest growing entertainment cable network, Vice TV, announced that there will be a fascinating and disturbing documentary that uncovers a massive cover-up of corruption, abuse, and mind control within a global religious organization, the Jehovah's Witnesses. The special will premiere on Wednesday, July 28th at 9 p.m. on Vice TV. So I need to check. I think I have Vice TV as one of the channels in my cable system. I'll have to make sure. But that is one that I'm definitely going to record, make sure that I watch it. I will probably do a follow-up video giving my commentary and review of that documentary. So make sure you check back on my channel. That'll be next week, the 28th. So I'll do the video probably either the next day or the day after. But it says here, among ongoing reckonings of religious organizations worldwide, Jehovah's Witnesses continue to maintain a carefully curated message of faith and an almost unblemished public veneer. To conceal their own corruption, the organization has systematically shamed and silenced victims and ostracized those who dare confront their ways. In this groundbreaking new documentary, they offer unparalleled access into one of the most calculated global religious organizations. Leading this charge is director Aaron Kaufman, known for his work with Robert Rodriguez. I guess he did a couple movies. A former third-generation Jehovah's Witness who faced shunning by his family after starting a 4-year investigation into the ways in which the Jehovah's Witnesses have protected pedophiles within their congregations and into the true nature of the organization. It says here, after witnessing firsthand the cycle of abuse that runs deep within the Jehovah's Witnesses, I could not rest until the dark truth of this organization was brought to light, said director Aaron Kaufman. So vice versa, Crusaders exposes those who use their immense power and influence to maintain control in the name of God. It says here, through revealing interviews with whistleblowers and access to leaked documents, vice versa, Crusaders gives viewers an unprecedented look into this extremely guarded organization. And speaking to former members and one current witness, this revealing film aims to confront the cycle of abuse that runs deep within. All right, so looks like next Wednesday, the 28th, this will go live, this documentary on Vice TV. I will make sure I record it and watch it. I think this is fantastic. First of all, the director was a former witness, third-generation witness. Oh, man, good for him. I love hearing former witnesses being involved in exposing this dangerous cult for what it is. So, yeah, it's one thing that I think more and more people are learning it used to be years ago, people really didn't know much about the Jehovah's Witnesses. All they really knew about them was that they knocked on their door on Saturday mornings early and pissed them off by coming to their door. But for the most part, Jehovah's Witnesses were just viewed as, oh, they're nice people. They dress well. They look very clean and proper, and they always knock on my door. That view of Jehovah's Witnesses is slowly changing. It's not changed quick enough, in my opinion, but it is changing. That view of Jehovah's Witnesses will eventually be, oh, that's that cult that covers up child sex abuse. That is the way I'm hoping most people start to view Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'm not saying Jehovah's Witnesses are bad people. Many of them are very good people. But the organization, the leadership of Jehovah's Witnesses, they're evil, terrible men. That's what they are. If there is a devil, he's using them. There's no doubt about it. So they need to be exposed. Their policies are dangerous. And I hope that they get sued into oblivion and that this destroys them financially. And I think it very well could. I think the lawsuits coming in the next 5 to 10 years against Watchtower and Bible Tract Society are going to be immense. So much so that it will probably destroy them, at least financially. I predict their headquarters in Warwick will have to be sold to meet the financial obligations and lawsuits that are continuing to mount. I absolutely believe that will happen. I can't wait for that day to happen. It's going to be fantastic. So again, you're already seeing financial stress in this organization. It's been well documented, well observed. All the selling of congregations, the selling of properties that they had in Brooklyn for many, many decades, those have all been sold. There is a retrenching in pulling assets. I mean, I'm someone who analyzes assets. That's what I do for a living, and yeah, it's extremely apparent that that's what's happening. That there's a liquidation going on, and they're raising cash. They're raising funds. They're being more desperate in asking for contributions from the members, which they never really did in years past. I mean, I remember being at the meetings, and it wasn't every meeting. Even it would be maybe a couple meetings a month. They would mention the need for supporting the organization financially, supporting the congregation financially. But now it's almost like every meeting they're mentioning it. You can sense the desperation that there's financial problems. And I think that's the best way to destroy this cult. It's sort of like, I'm trying to compare it. A good analogy would be the Cold War, right? I mean, not to get into politics too much, but the Cold War, America, democracy versus communism. How did communism sort of fail? Well, it failed financially, right? That was the one that it didn't get crushed and destroyed by physical means, by war. It was crushed financially. And I think that's the best way to take down an organization, ideology, whatever it is, cult, is to destroy it financially. And I think that that's what's going to happen eventually. I think, is there always going to be a Jehovah's Witness religion? Probably in some form. There's no doubt about it. Cults are very hard to kill. But I do think that it will diminish to such an extent that in generations from now, it'll piddle away to nothing. It won't be like it is today, right? Where it's global, it's supposedly 8 million members. I can see that number dwindling over time tremendously. But I think financially, it's the way to take it down. And this documentary is just going to pile on. It's going to pile on that reputation. What's so ironic about it is I always remember hearing through conventions, through talks, all the time. We need to do all we can to not bring reproach on Jehovah's name, right? They used to say that all the time. Do not bring reproach. Do not bring reproach. And that's exactly what they've been doing. The leadership in Watchtower have not just brought reproach on themselves. They've really have woken people up within their own members. Many people today are leaving because they've run across these type of things. This is not apostate lies. This is not apostate fabrication. This is actual evidence of abuse, evidence of covering it up by Watchtower. It's evidence of falsehood, but we didn't have to get into all the things that they're incorrect about regarding doctrine, regarding prophecy. They're false on many levels, but this is a way where people can see right away, hey, this is documented evidence of falsehood, documented evidence of wrongdoing. And imagine this girl, this 12-year-old girl, was abused and was shunned. So she probably was. She was probably a baptized witness, which is egregious in itself. How they're baptizing 9, 10-year-olds. I remember as a child seeing 10, 11-year-olds in my congregation getting baptized, and I waited till I was 16 before I got baptized. Even then, I didn't know anything. I don't think I knew anything until I was 25 or 30, and even then, I'm still learning all the time. So to baptize a 9 or 10 or 11-year-old, and then when they're involved in some judicial matter, you're going to shun a 12-year-old. This is absolutely crazy. And it just shows how evil, completely viciously evil, this cult and religion is. And I'm not saying many of the members, Jehovah's Witnesses, are very nice people. I'm not saying that they're evil. The leadership of this organization, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, the governing body, many of the elders, they're evil people. They just are. They're covering up wrongdoing because they don't want this to bring reproach on Jehovah's name. Well, let's bring in reproach. There's no getting around that. The reproach is coming. It's already happened, and it's only going to get worse. And these documentaries that you're seeing, get ready. There's going to be a lot more. I know that there's another major documentary coming to Netflix either later this year or early next year. That's going to be big documentary. That is going to be a game changer because a lot of people watch Netflix. A lot more people watch Netflix than Vice TV. So, and I know that there was also a documentary before on A&E, the Leah Remini documentary, that was very good. They focused completely on Jehovah's Witnesses in one of their episodes, and I thought that was fantastic, and it did get out to a lot of people. But when there's a documentary on Netflix about Jehovah's Witnesses, just wait. That is going to take down a lot of people. A lot of people are going to leave the religion and that dangerous cult when they watch that documentary. So I can't wait. I think this is an exciting time to be an XJW. The community of XJWs is growing all the time. By the way, just to give an update, I did speak over the phone with my good friend Jonas at Goat Like Personality. He has a YouTube channel. He has a lot more followers than I do. So I'm going to be on his channel doing a live stream. Hopefully the next week or two. We're going to plan out a date on that. And he's going to interview me, go through my experience as an ex-Bethelite. I served in Bethel in Brooklyn, New York, in the mid-90s. So we're going to go through my experience being at the headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses in New York, and my, what I saw, what I observed, the things that I thought were interesting. and it's something that I'm looking forward to. He has a lot of subscribers, so I'm sure that will only help my channel, give me more exposure to the XJW community. My goal one of these days is also get on Lloyd Evans' channel. Hopefully I can make that happen at some point. But I really appreciate everybody who's been supporting my channel. I get many messages from all of you. I really do appreciate the comments. Keep it up. Anytime you want to mention something, please leave that in the comment section. And I would try to respond to everybody as well. So appreciate everybody's support. All right, everybody. So again, next Wednesday, the 28th, I believe at 9 p.m. Was it 9 p.m. in Eastern? Let me see the time here. Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the documentary on Vice TV. Maybe they'll have a replay, or maybe there'll be a way to watch it online. If I find a way to watch it online, I may post that in the comments, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, that should be a very good documentary on Vice TV about exposing Jehovah's Witnesses and abuse. Can't wait to watch that, and I will also do a video next week doing commentary on that video. So look for that. All right, everybody, have a good day, and I'll see you soon.